Hello, party people, and welcome to another episode of the Mug Life Podcast. I'm Brittany, and before we even jump into today's episode, I'm going to just point out the elephant in the room. And if you are only listening, you're missing out because my outfit is quite spectacular. It doesn't match, and we're just going to ignore that because I was a little chilly, so I put on a flannel, and I look kind of like a traffic cone right now. I look like my bright neon construction worker shirt and then like a red flannel. Like I just look like a very confused construction worker. I don't know. With coffee though, so it's a win, right? So cheers. Also, it's like a see-through mug. How cool are these? I got these on Amazon. They look like your hands would burn when you touch them, but they're insulated, but they're see-through and they're glass. So anyways, let's dive in. So today's episode is going to be short and sweet because I think it's going to start storming very soon outside, and I don't want to just be chilling here. I'd rather be inside before the power goes out. So hopefully I get this recorded before the storm rolls in. Apparently it's going to be like tornado weather, hail, all that kind of stuff. So we're just in for a spring adventure out here in the old woods of my house. So this episode is actually, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So this episode is going to be a game changer for you if you are somebody who wants to work out. You want to move your body more. You want to lose weight. You want to put on muscle. Like you want to do all these things. Or even maybe like you want to eat healthy, or you want to meal prep, or, you want to clean your house even. Like this is for the person. Maybe it's for you today. Maybe this is really going to just change the world for you, and I hope it does. And maybe this is not the first time you've heard this before, but today I'm going to introduce to you the 10-minute rule. And if you haven't heard about the 10-minute rule, I'm about to blow your mind, and you're about to just be like, this is the best thing ever, and you're going to go share it with all your friends. Now, a little disclaimer, I did not come up with the 10-minute rule. I tried to search it and Google it to figure out where it came from. And everybody has their own spin of what the 10-minute rule is. And the original 10-minute rule, I think comes from Steve Jobs, from Apple. But I don't know. I'm not for sure, but you might have heard other, social media people who are in the fitness realm talk about it. Anyways, this is my version of the 10-minute rule and how I use the 10-minute rule and how my clients use the 10-minute rule to find motivation to do a task that they're maybe not feeling super motivated to even start. Okay. And so I guess that I want to tell you, if you've ever been in a position where you have been at home, and let's use the example of wanting to do a home workout, okay? I know how hard it is some days to start a workout. That's literally the hardest part because momentum creates movement. Momentum creates motivation, right? I've talked about this in my podcast before, if you picture that snowball, right? That snowball effect. Once it starts rolling and rolling and rolling, going downhill, it gets bigger and faster and faster and faster. That initial push of that snowball is what takes the most effort, and it's the hardest thing to do, especially when we have every excuse in the world not to do that, and when it feels really, really hard. Which, by the way, as a mom, your excuses are totally valid. It's okay that you're too tired to work out. It's okay that you feel like you have too many other things to get done and your workout you feel like should be last. It's okay that you just feel like, you don't want to meal prep. You'd rather spend time with your kids. You'd rather be on the floor playing with them, or you'd rather just be sitting on the couch scrolling your phone because you just need to turn your brain off. It's all okay. Your excuses are valid. Maybe you're a working mom. Maybe you're a mom who comes home at 6 p.m. and all you want to do is just become a potato and sink into the couch and not have to think about anything. But we know we can't do that, right? Because we're gonna have a toddler in our lap immediately. We're gonna be cooking dinner. We're gonna be catching up on laundry. I know what it feels like to feel unmotivated to do the hard stuff, to do the stuff that you feel like you should have more time for, and you don't. So here is the 10-minute rule, okay? On the days, if you've ever caught yourself thinking gosh, I'm not feeling it today. I really don't want to do this. This feels hard. I'm tired. I have no energy. I didn't get good sleep last night. We don't have to let our excuses dictate our behavior, okay? And I kind of want you think about this with your children, right? Sometimes we have to use tough love to get them to do the things that they don't want to do, like clean their room or brush their teeth or go to bed at a decent hour. These are all things that we know are going to be healthy for them to do, are a part of just everyday living, the skills that they need. Maybe it's, you know, the nutrients they need when we have them serve when we have them eat their vegetables and they don't want to eat their vegetables, right? Like there's a reason behind our madness as parents. And there should be a reason behind your madness as somebody who wants to be a healthy individual. And the best way that I can describe the Give Me 10 rule is to combine discipline and self-compassion, okay? And I'm going to introduce you to the 10-minute rule in just a minute, but I want you to understand that we have to start considering how we are creating motivation for ourselves. Because if we are motivating ourselves out of fear, out of disgust, out of shame, out of guilt, all of those things might motivate us for some time, but eventually it's going to slowly chip away at our confidence, and it's going to make us hate, like literally hate, doing the things that are most important for our health, right? Like one example of this, not to go too far off track here, would be running for me, right? I went for a run today and I didn't hate it. In fact, I loved it. I looked forward to it. I got done and I was like, this is the best thing ever for me. It was like a 2-mile run, simple. It was outdoors. I was listening to the birds chirping in spring, and I was feeling the wind on my face, and I could smell the flowers starting to bloom. Like, it was an experience I looked forward to, I loved, and I was so glad I did. And I got in some cardio. But not too long ago, cardio for me was punishment. End of story. Cardio was the result of me fearing getting fat. Okay? And that can motivate you for so long until it's, like I said, slowly chips away at your confidence and your ability to like show up. Because eventually you get beat down enough by yourself that you're going to just hide away. And for a long time, I avoided running because I associated running with that feeling of like self-hate, right? I always went for a run because it was like I ate too much the night before, or, you know, I shouldn't have skipped that workout, or, you know, maybe I went on vacation and I needed to run extra hard the next day. Like stupid stuff that I wish that I could go back and tell myself, like, hey, like you can just go for a run because you enjoy it, or go find a different cardio that you like. You don't have to run. You could go bike, you could go swim, right? Like, the point here is this. We don't want to create a negative association with something that can be completely neutral. All right. And I will be talking a lot about this in future podcasts with food, but today is kind of more of a focus on exercise. But with the Give Me 10 rule, it's combining discipline and self-compassion because we are giving ourselves tough love. We're saying, here in a minute, I'll kind of go into detail in the steps about how to do it. We're saying like, hey, just give me 10 minutes, okay? But we're also having the self-compassion and the understanding and saying like, hey, we're almost talking to ourselves here. Like, I recognize you had a long day. I know you're a mom. I know you're tired. And I know that you worked really hard at work today. And I know you don't feel like doing it, but just give me 10. Give me 10. And if you don't want to do anything past the 10, that's okay, right? You did your best, you tried, and I'm proud of you for that, okay? And so I want you to start talking to yourself like you talk to your children. It really sounds silly, but we have got to retrain that inner voice that we have, like that inner, like crappy, bitchy voice that talks to us and calls ourselves out and like says the mean things to us, because we are really mean to ourselves, especially as women in today's world. If you grew up in the generation that I did, I mean, you talk like so much shit to yourself. You are so mean to yourself, and you need to stop it. And you need to call that person out in your head and be like, hey, you, shut the heck up. Like, you don't get to control me, right? Because your thoughts are not fact. They're just thoughts. And if we can pull those thoughts out and we can look at them and we can inspect them from all angles, we can decide like, that's not me. That's not my voice. And this is not a reality. I choose my reality. And this, you guys, the Give Me 10 rule is going to be a game changer for you if you are lacking motivation and you have always ever used like self-hate to motivate yourself, right? I'm not going to make you sing Kumbaya. I'm not going to make you give yourself a hug and like play music and like sweet talk yourself. I'm not going to have you do that. However, when you get in a moment, and let's go back to that example, I'm going to bring it full circle here for you. So grab your pen and paper. Like, this is the time where I tell you how to do the 10-minute rule. And it's so simple. But like, let's say you get home from work and you're exhausted, like we talked about, and you're sitting on the couch and you like, for the life of you, you cannot pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You want to, you do. Like you have goals, you've been consistent, but like today is not the day for you. You're tired, exhausted. Ugh, like working out. No, don't make me, right? Like one of those days. Okay. Maybe you're even like depressed or sad or like having a bad moment. Like those are the hardest times ever. Like maybe you got in a fight with your, with your partner and like you're just like angry right now and you don't want to work out. Like, or maybe you just had to discipline your kid and you're just feeling a little emotional about it. Like whatever the thing is that's happening in that moment, okay? I would say to you as your coach, give me 10. And I would coach you to start saying that to yourself, right? Give me 10, all right? And so what that means is you literally get out a physical timer. I don't care if it's the one on your oven, the one on your phone, a little egg timer, I don't know. Get a timer, put in 10 minutes. Pull up your YouTube video, your workout video you're doing, pull up the Lift with Brit app. If you do my workouts, pull up that. Pull up, your yoga routine video. Maybe it's just like you just want to move your body, do some jumping jacks, do some sit-ups, whatever you want to do. Maybe it's just taking a walk, but I want you to give me 10, okay? So maybe it's a 30-minute workout video, okay? And you set that timer, 10 minutes. And the rule is you start for 10 minutes, you follow through, you do the dang thing, even if it feels really difficult, and you show up and you keep going. And you have to keep going. 9:59, you still go. You go hard up until that 10-minute mark. And when that 10-minute mark hits and you're a little bit through your workout, you get to make the decision. You get to decide, okay, you check in with yourself. How am I feeling right now? How do I feel in comparison to when I started? Do I want to keep going? Do I feel like I could, do another 10 minutes? Can I give myself 10 more and set another 10-minute timer, right? Do I feel like physically exhausted, like I'm in pain, or like I can't breathe very well, or I'm feeling dizzy? Like, are there signs that I need to stop for my health, right? So this is your chance to kind of get the ball rolling, to create some momentum, right? We picture that snowball rolling down the hill and it's getting faster and faster and faster and faster. When we have momentum, we create motivation because endorphins are going to start flying, right? And once we start to feel the endorphins in a workout, it kind of gives us that edge, that push to keep going. And in most cases, not every time, but in most cases, if you get 10 minutes in, you're going to want to finish the rest of the workout because you are going to feel so much better just 10 minutes later that you're going to crave what that next 10 minutes could give you. Okay. And I know this sounds like so crazy simple, but if you implement the 10-minute rule in your life for things that you are not motivated to do just to get you started, you're probably going to finish a lot more things. And I've started using it in more things in my life than just my workout, right? Like I have used it for laundry. Like, okay, Britt, I know you don't want to do this laundry, but just fold some laundry for 10 minutes. And if you get if you're really getting in a groove and you're doing it really well, you'll keep going. If your toddler hasn't interrupted you and thrown everything you just folded, keep going, right? Maybe it's a 10 minutes of, like I said, a walk. Maybe it's 10 minutes of journaling or writing and, maybe 10 minutes of working on that project that you've been kind of avoiding. 10 minutes of cleaning out that junk drawer in your kitchen that we all have that you've avoided forever. You just walk by and you're like, I should probably clean that one day, but I don't want to. Set a timer. Set a timer, 10 minutes. And then when that 10 minutes is up, you can stop. That's the best part, guys. That is the best part. It gives you permission. This is the self-compassion piece, right? The discipline is the 10 minutes. 10 minutes, buck up, buttercup. Get your butt in the game. 10 minutes, give me 10. But that timer going off is the self-compassion that whispers in your ear and it says, hey, I know you were having a hard time. I know you were feeling really tired and defeated today. I know you're feeling kind of sad. I know you're feeling discouraged, or I know you feel kind of maybe you don't love the way you look in your clothes. Maybe you put on your gym clothes to work out and then immediately didn't want to do it because you didn't like the way you looked. I hear you. It's okay. It's okay to feel that way. Give me 10 minutes, all right? And then you do the 10 minutes and that timer goes off and the timer says, hey, you, how are you feeling? And you check in with yourself and you say, oh, well, I'm a little winded, but you know what? The waistband on my pants isn't bothering me as much anymore. And I'm kind of just in it now and I want to keep going and I am feeling stronger and I know that this is what I have to do so that I can eventually lose the weight. Great. Keep going, babe. You got this. Give me 10 more, right? And so instead of, I guess let me give you the contrast here. Okay, so if we use the 10-minute rule, and some people do this, some people use the 10-minute rule and they use it like a strict, disciplined kind of angle, right? So it's give me 10, okay? And give me 10 minutes, put it in, do your hardest work. And when that 10 minutes up, you just better suck it up and like keep going and like don't give up and like, but they're missing the important piece, okay? Yes, it's important to understand that the 10 minutes is key because that's enough time for your body to start adjusting and for your mind to kind of like get in the zone, right? To do any task. But the most important part of give me 10 is give me 10, okay? Give me 10 minutes and then give me 2, okay? That's the second part of it. Give me 2. Give me 2 reasons why I want to keep going. Or, self-compassion here, give me 2 reasons why I'm ready to quit. Okay? But they got to be good reasons. And in that 10-minute stretch, you're allowing yourself to work through those reasons in your head and in your body, your physical body. If we're connected to our body and we learn how to recognize the way we're feeling and not just shut out all feeling from our neck down, and we can actually listen to our thoughts, dissect our thoughts, recognize that they are not truth, that they are just thoughts. They are not directions that don't tell us where to go and what to do. Then that give me 2 is our chance to reflect. It's our chance to take in the experience and then make a decision out of self-compassion. Okay? So your 2 reasons could be for wanting to continue. I feel really, really good right now. Like my body is buzzing. I feel awesome. This workout's making me sweat and I love it. The sweat's dripping in my eyes and in my mouth. It's just like, this is the best ever. I love this feeling. I feel like I'm sweating out the bad day. Okay? And then maybe your second reason is like, my little girl just crawled over here and just pretended to start lifting weights with her like little toy rattle. And like, I want to be an example for my kids. I got to keep going. Right? But maybe, and this is totally okay. This is where like, as your coach, like I hate what pressure we put on ourselves. It's like, it's terrible because then it becomes punishment, right? Like, I don't really want to continue. I've waited 10 minutes. I just really still not into it. Like, I just got to keep going. I'm going to force myself. Okay. It's a fine line and you definitely have to find a balance. And I'm not just saying give yourself an out every single time. Like you got to have some self-discipline. But once again, let's bring in that self-compassion. So you get to the 10 minutes, you hit your time and you're like winded. Okay. You're really like hanging off the side of the couch. You're like, what is wrong with me? Like my head is pounding. My knees are like kind of hurting. Like my chest is kind of heavy. Like maybe I'm getting sick. I don't know what this is. Like this doesn't feel normal. Okay. Reason number 1 why you should stop. You might be getting sick. You are physically not well. Like it doesn't feel good. Okay. It should feel pretty good. Like a little soreness, a little pain, no gain. Like, okay. But you shouldn't have a pounding headache and you shouldn't be dizzy. Okay. So maybe that's one reason why you should quit. And you're like, all right, I got to give me 2. All right. Second reason. My little girl is screaming. She's so hungry. She needs to eat. Like, I'm breastfeeding right now. And like, I knew that I was like, it was kind of a weird time to do it, but I was just going to try and do as much as I could. Maybe this is the reason why you're quitting, right? Now, maybe you physically could keep going, right? Like maybe, you enjoyed the workout, but you have a little girl crying because she's hungry, right? And she wants to breastfeed and it's that time. So you can choose to leave it at 10 minutes and go breastfeed your baby. Or you can go breastfeed your baby and get back in the game and work for 10 more minutes. So I just want you to understand there's a lot of flexibility with this rule. But the main reason that I teach my clients the 10-minute rule or the give me 10 and then take 2 is because it's so important to learn how to create the skill to self-regulate and to be able to kind of take the way that we're feeling and the thoughts that we're having and kind of extract them outward and kind of look at them and make a decision that is disciplined but has self-compassion, okay? And that's a skill. That takes time because I don't know how you were raised, but I was raised just like suck it up, buttercup. Like you got to be tough. It's a dog eat dog world. Maybe I actually kind of raised myself that way. Actually, now that I think about it, there's some like deep rooted stuff there. But like I grew up with a chip on my shoulder, okay? And there's a lot to that. And my personal story I've shared a little bit on here before, and I probably at one point will share more about it. But I've always had a chip on my shoulder. I'm like, you know what, Brittany? Like, I don't care how tired you are. Toughen up. Like, there's people all around the world way more tired than you. Suck it up. Get it done. Do you want to be fat? Do you want to be ugly? Do you want to hate yourself? Do you want like mean things? I would say to myself just to force myself to do something, even if I was in pain, even on the days that I was like really, really sick. Like I remember I would never. I would never do this now. But like, I remember having the stomach flu one time and I was like, I can't miss this workout. I can't miss this workout. Oh my gosh. Like if I miss this workout, like all of my progress is over and I'm going to, I was a lot younger and it was like right after my first child. So it was 11 years, 12. Oh my gosh, he's 12. So 12 years ago. And I was just like, I was puking. When I tell you I was puking. Okay. Luckily I wasn't doing the other thing too, but I was puking. And in between my thoughts were like, how am I going to work out today? How can I get that workout in? I would not implement the give me 10 rule there. Okay, babe, you're sick. So I want you to understand that there are a lot of nuances here with this 10-minute rule, but if you have ever been in a position where you're just like, oh, I don't want to do it. I'm not feeling it. I don't have motivation. I just really encourage you to think to yourself, okay, give me 10. And then once you've given me 10, give me 2. Okay? So give me 10 minutes, set the timer, do your best, get the ball rolling. And after that 10 minutes is up, give yourself 2. 2 reasons why you want to keep going, or 2 reasons why you're ready to just, and I don't even want to call it quit, because you didn't quit. You went for 10 minutes. So 2 reasons why you're ready to stop, right? And remember, consistency does not mean that you are doing the same amount of work every single time. It just means that on average, you're getting it done. Okay? And we can't be perfect. We are not robots. And every single day is not going to have the same amount of motivation. But I really want to encourage you with this 10-minute rule. Also, this kind of like parallel that I've been discussing this entire podcast is, how do I speak to myself in moments where I lack motivation? Where does my motivation come from, right? And when I don't have motivation, what's my plan? Because I'm going to tell you this because I love you. And I know this is going to be hard to hear, but motivation does not last. And if you are only motivated because you don't want to be fat, it's just not going to last. That's fear driven, okay? Motivation is an emotional thing, okay? We are motivated by our emotions, by our values, right? By our beliefs. When you're truly motivated to do something, you got to feel it, right? And that is why hate and like guilt and shame, which is a very deep emotion, can motivate people to go for a run and do cardio, to get their exercise in when they don't want to, right? Because they fear being fat. They fear shame. They fear that guilt. They fear like just not loving who they are. And they just want to do whatever they can to get as far away as possible from the person that they are. And it's terrible. And that motivation can last for a really long time. But it's like I said, it slowly chips away at your heart and your soul and just the glow and your happiness and your joy. We don't want that. I don't want that for you. Okay? And instead, we can find motivation through joy, through meaning, through our values. I talk about our core values all the time, but it's because it's so important. You know, we find motivation, like I talked about earlier in the example, looking over and seeing your little girl like pick up her rattle and like try to lift weights with you. Like that's motivation. That's like, oh, like I am setting an example for my children. How freaking cool is that? And I'm doing this so one day down the road, when my baby has babies, I can be on the floor playing with my grandchildren, right? You know, and maybe you value just time to yourself and you know that that 10 minutes is time, whether you feel like it in the moment, is good or bad in the moment, right? Or you really want to do it in the moment. You know that you value that time for your body, for your health, for the longevity of your body. And you recognize that the science says that women that lift weights live longer, healthier lives without needing invasive surgeries, right? Because their hip breaks, right? Or their bones are brittle. Like we want strong bodies. We want to live as long as possible. We want to soak up everything we can in this world. Those are all reasons, kind of more deep, but like those are all reasons why getting that 10 minutes in is important. And so instead of, you know, giving me 10 because you don't want to be fat, giving me 10 because you ate a cheeseburger last night and you shouldn't have eaten that cheeseburger, instead of giving me 10 because you skipped your workout last week, I want you to give me 10 because you know that workout that you are kind of avoiding, or maybe you don't want to do in the moment because you're tired, is really going to benefit you in the long run. And that's another penny that you're dropping in the bank. Okay. And yes, a part of it can be that you want to lose weight. There's no shame in that. But let's not use that as like blackmail against ourselves. Like, you know, calling ourselves ugly or fat, or saying that we will never be loved because of our body size, right? Like there's a line that we have to be aware of. And part of that is being aware of our internal monologue. Okay. And this is kind of going deep, and this is kind of moving into some body image issues, which I actually am recording a podcast very soon about body image. So keep an eye out for that. I think it'll be really helpful for anybody who is really feeling lost in their body right now, especially if you're a mom postpartum. Even if you're 5-10 years postpartum, like, I get it. Being a mom really kind of just takes your body from you. And then when you get it back, you're like, wait, what is this? Who am I? Where am I? I feel like an alien in my skin, right? And so I don't want to get too far off track with that, but just recognize that it's important to understand the way that you speak to yourself and the way that you get motivation. So I hope that this podcast was helpful today. And I hope that you practice the 10-minute rule. Just give it a go. Give me 10, but don't forget to give me 2. Focus on self-compassion and discipline. Those 2 things are going to get you the results that you want. All right. So if you are unmotivated, you're feeling this in the moment, give me 10, and then send this to somebody who might find this helpful. Mugs up.